They study your every move, waiting for that one moment of weakness. When you start explaining yourself, they'll question your choices, your silence, your confidence, anything that unsettles them. Not because they seek truth, but because your calm exposes their chaos. They crave your explanation like predators crave blood, because once you explain, you hand them control. You strip away the mystery that made them respect you or fear you. The powerful never explain, they decide. They speak less, but everything they say echoes. Their silence isn't emptiness, it's dominance. Remember this, every time you justify, you lose authority. Every time you explain, you feed their illusion of power. But when you stay silent, you force the world to wonder, and that wonder becomes fear. They want your words, give them your silence. They want your defense, give them your indifference, because mystery commands obedience and silence kills curiosity. Comment below, my silence is my throne. The greatest mistake strong men make is explaining themselves, because the moment you defend, you descend. You turn command into compliance and dominance into doubt. They'll question your silence, your decisions, your confidence, and they'll do it with one purpose, to pull you down to their level. They want you emotional, reactive, human, but power dies the second you start seeking understanding. A true strategist never fights on someone else's terms. When they demand reasons, stay still. When they provoke, remain calm. When they misunderstand you, let them. Because power is not in being understood. It's in being unreadable. Your silence becomes your armor. Your composure becomes your weapon. And your mystery becomes their fear. Machiavelli understood that influence thrives on perception, not truth. The more they think they know you, the easier you are to control. But the less they understand, the more they obsess. They'll study your every glance, overanalyze your pauses, and invent meanings where none exist. And in that confusion, you rule them. Never explain, never justify. Because every word you use to defend yourself cuts your aura in half. The powerful speak through outcome, not argument. Their silence whispers louder than noise ever could. So the next time someone demands an explanation, remember, you owe no one your reasons. Let your results defend you. Let your silence haunt them. Comment below, my silence is my throne. Repeat it until your voice fades, because kings don't explain. They decide. Justification is the mind's quiet surrender. The weak do it not because they're guilty, but because they fear losing control of how they're seen. They need others to approve, to agree, to accept. Their ego cannot survive in silence, so they fill it with explanations, thinking words can save them from judgment. But every defense is an admission of dependency. When you justify, you tell the world that their opinion has power over you. And that's the beginning of your downfall. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. The need to be liked is the disease of the powerless. They crave validation because they cannot validate themselves. They want to appear noble, righteous, and pure, so they explain their actions to gain moral comfort. But power does not seek comfort, it seeks control. The moment you explain, you lower yourself to the level of those who question you. You trade mystery for approval and command for compliance. Justification exposes fear. It's the trembling whisper of someone who cannot bear to be misunderstood. But every man who ever ruled understood this truth. To be powerful, you must be misunderstood. Let them twist your motives, let them paint you as cold or cruel. It only proves your strength unsettles them. The masses need heroes they can understand, the ruler, the strategist, the thinker. They live beyond comprehension, and that distance creates authority. When you stay silent, they start doubting their accusations. They replay every word, question every assumption. Your calm becomes psychological warfare. They can't fight what they can't read, and soon their confidence collapses under the weight of their own uncertainty. That's how power shifts, not through argument, but through presence. The weak explain to feel safe. The strong stay silent to stay in control. Every time you justify yourself, you break the illusion that protects your power. So hold your ground. Let your silence become their mirror, reflecting their insecurity back at them. Because the moment you stop explaining, they start explaining themselves. Comment below. My silence breaks their control. Because the world doesn't obey the loud, it obeys the ones who don't need to speak. Silence is not weakness. It's the most calculated form of dominance. The untrained mind fears silence because it exposes insecurity, but the disciplined mind wields it like a blade. When you learn to control your silence, you no longer speak to be heard, you speak to command. Every pause becomes intentional, every glance becomes a statement, and every word you withhold becomes a weapon that cuts deeper than any explanation ever could. Machiavelli understood that men reveal their power not in how they speak, but in when they refuse to. The powerful know that attention is currency, so they spend it sparingly. They know that silence builds tension, and tension bends others to your rhythm. People talk to fill the void, but the strong use that void to study, to measure, to dominate the tempo of any room they walk into. When you master silence, you own time. Others rush to fill it. You simply watch as they expose themselves trying to earn your reaction. Controlled silence turns curiosity into fear. It makes others guess your motives, question your limits, and hesitate before speaking against you. They will fill the gaps in your words with their imagination, and imagination, when mixed with uncertainty, becomes obedience. That's how leaders control without force. They become mirrors that reflect back what others fear to see. But don't confuse silence with passivity. Controlled silence is active control. It's the art of knowing that you've already won before saying a single word. It's the ability to sit in accusation, in chaos, in judgment, and still remain untouched. Because the man who can stay calm while others lose composure rules them. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them drown in their need to understand you. Because every time you remain still, every time you withhold the urge to explain, your aura grows heavier, your silence becomes sacred, and soon the same people who once demanded answers will start begging for your attention. The world obeys the man who doesn't flinch. The one who controls his silence controls the room, the crowd, and eventually the narrative itself. Comment below. My silence commands the room. Because when you master your silence, you stop chasing power. You become it. Emotion is the easiest leash to pull. The weak reveal themselves through every reaction: anger, guilt, frustration, even eagerness. Each outburst is a confession that someone else controls their state of mind. The powerful know this. That's why they detach. They don't suppress emotion. They own it. Detachment is not coldness. It's control. It's the discipline to feel everything, yet reveal nothing. Machiavelli understood that a ruler cannot afford the luxury of emotion. Pity clouds strategy. Anger blinds judgment. Attachment weakens resolve. The moment you let emotion drive your response, you hand your enemy the map to your weakness. That's why the masters of power move like ice, calm, deliberate, unreadable. When others scream, they whisper. When others panic, they plan. Their restraint is not emptiness, it's precision. Emotional detachment isn't about apathy, it's about dominance over yourself. The man who can't master his emotions will always be mastered by those who can manipulate them. Learn to pause before reacting. Let silence devour impulse. Every time you hold back, your power multiplies. You become the calm center in a storm of chaos. People start to look at you differently. They sense that nothing shakes you, nothing defines you, nothing owns you. That perception alone is power. Detachment turns manipulation back on the manipulator. They'll try to provoke you with guilt, doubt, or shame, but none of it lands because you've built an inner fortress. Your focus stays pure, your purpose unshaken. And when they finally realize they can't control your emotions, they'll start controlling their own around you. That's the quiet reversal of power, when their fear of losing composure becomes obedience. To detach is not to feel less, It's to rule what you feel. It's the art of turning emotion into strategy. You can care deeply and still act coldly. You can love and still walk away. You can be human, yet untouchable. That's the paradox of strength. The man who controls his emotions controls outcomes. The one who reacts becomes a tool for someone else's plan. So remain still. Breathe slow. Let them burn in their own chaos while you remain the flame they can't reach. Comment below, I feel nothing. I control everything. Because true power isn't in emotion. It's in mastering the fire without letting it consume you. Power is never about truth. It's about perception. The world doesn't reward the honest. It rewards the convincing. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. People don't follow reality. They follow the image of power. And the one who controls perception controls the game. The weak waste time proving who they are. The powerful create who they appear to be. Perception is your armor, your weapon, and your disguise. The moment you realize the world sees what you project, not what you are, you gain freedom. You can shape reality to your design. Speak little, move with precision, and watch how people build legends around your silence. A man who reveals nothing forces others to imagine everything, and imagination is far more powerful than truth. Dominance begins when your presence bends perception. When you walk into a room, your energy speaks before you do. If you appear confident, detached, and intentional, people submit to that rhythm. They adapt to your tone. They lower their volume. They mirror your calm. That's the invisible chain of command that true power creates, without saying a single word. But remember, control of perception requires discipline. One emotional slip, one unnecessary explanation, and the illusion cracks. Never let people see your full truth. It makes you predictable. The powerful live behind a mask, not because they're fake, but because transparency is vulnerability. You don't owe the world your depth, you owe it your direction. Machiavelli warned that leaders must appear virtuous, not be virtuous. The masses don't look for purity, they look for strength. Give them that illusion. Let them believe what benefits your goals. Let them trust what you allow them to see. Because when you control their perception, you don't need to control their actions. They'll align themselves with your image. The powerful craft their myth carefully. They don't argue. They don't explain. They don't defend. They simply exist in a way that demands attention and commands respect. The rest follows automatically. So stop trying to be understood. Be perceived correctly. Shape the narrative before they ever speak your name. Because once you master perception, truth becomes optional, and power becomes inevitable. Comment below. I control what they see. Because when you own the illusion, you own the world. Indifference is the final stage of control. When nothing outside of you moves you, you become untouchable. The weak crave recognition, attention, and reaction. They live to be seen, liked, and validated. Every compliment lifts them, every insult destroys them. They are slaves to approval, their emotions pulled like strings by anyone bold enough to tug. But the powerful, they are carved from stillness. Praise doesn't inflate them. Criticism doesn't cut them. Their value exists beyond the noise. Machiavelli understood that attachment to validation is the root of manipulation. Once they know what you seek, love, acceptance, reputation, they own you. They'll feed it to you in doses to make you obedient. But the moment you stop needing approval, their power dies. You become immune to their games because nothing they can offer or take away defines your worth. Indifference terrifies the manipulator. It makes them invisible to themselves. True indifference is not arrogance. It's emotional sovereignty. It's the quiet conviction that you decide what matters. The powerful don't chase. They attract. They don't explain. They demonstrate. Their silence speaks, their absence echoes, their detachment commands respect. The more you stop reacting, the more others obsess over how to reach you. That's the paradox of control. When you withdraw your attention, theirs multiplies. Indifference is not coldness toward life. It's the refusal to let life dictate your temperature. You become steady while others fluctuate. You watch chaos unfold without needing to join it. You let others exhaust themselves trying to decode your stillness while you conserve your energy for strategy. That calm drives them insane, because in a world addicted to validation, the man who needs nothing becomes godlike. Understand this: reaction is currency, and indifference is wealth. The less you respond, the more power you gain. Let them think they've won your silence, when in truth, you've already won their attention. That's how rulers move. That's how legends form. So the next time they provoke you, smile faintly and say nothing, because silence backed by indifference isn't retreat, it's command. Comment below, I need nothing, I control everything. Because the moment you no longer seek their validation, you inherit their obedience. Power is not gained by proximity, it's maintained by distance. The moment people feel too close to you, they forget to fear you. Familiarity breeds comfort, and comfort kills authority. The powerful understand this instinctively. Influence requires presence, but control requires distance. You must let them see you, but never fully reach you. Let them feel your warmth, but never your heartbeat. The closer they think they are, the less they actually know. Machiavelli warned that a ruler must be both loved and feared, but never too accessible. When you become too available, you become ordinary. Distance creates hierarchy. It builds an invisible wall that separates the observer from the observed. The crowd studies you, but can't quite read you. That tension becomes reverence. You don't need to shout for respect. The space you maintain creates it. Psychological distance is the art of controlled detachment. You engage just enough to maintain connection, but you withdraw before vulnerability. You reveal fragments of truth, never the whole story. Every conversation is intentional, every silence measured. The more they try to get closer, the more they start chasing the version of you that doesn't fully exist, and in that pursuit, you rule their focus. Distance amplifies mystery. It makes your words heavier, your presence rarer, your approval more valuable. When you're not constantly available, people start to value your attention as a privilege. And when they value your attention, you no longer have to demand respect. It arrives automatically. That's psychological gravity. You don't pull others toward you, you make them orbit. But this requires discipline. The ego loves attention. It wants to be liked, praised, included. Resist that impulse. Your energy must remain selective. The more people access your time, your thoughts, your emotions, the more predictable you become. And predictability is the enemy of power. Maintain space, not as rejection, but as strategy. Let them miss your silence, crave your response, anticipate your approval. That hunger becomes control. The ones who control the room aren't the loudest. They're the ones whose absence changes the atmosphere. That's real presence. That's psychological distance mastered. Comment below. My distance creates my power. Because power isn't about how many people you reach, it's about how few can reach you. Coldness is not cruelty. It's precision. It's the art of feeling emotion without being ruled by it, using it as a weapon instead of a weakness. Most people react. The powerful calculate. They can simulate warmth, display empathy, or mirror passion, not because they feel it deeply, but because they know emotion controls others faster than logic ever will. That's not manipulation. That's strategy. Machiavelli called it the mastery of appearances. You show what's useful, you conceal what's real. The masses mistake emotion for truth. They believe sincerity equals honesty. But in the world of power, emotion is currency, and the wise spend it sparingly. A true strategist never wastes genuine feeling on those who haven't earned it. He can appear kind to gain loyalty, calm to gain trust, and even cruel to gain fear. Yet within, he remains untouched. His emotions serve him. They don't enslave him. Strategic coldness is about detachment in execution. When you must make hard decisions, end alliances, walk away from weakness, or destroy threats, you do it without hesitation. Not because you lack empathy, but because you understand that emotion clouds judgment. You can still care, you can still love, but you never let that love compromise your position. Compassion should never cost control. To be cold is to be clear. When others drown in drama, you stay still. When they overreact, you observe. You measure their impulses, learn their triggers, and decide your moves while they're busy proving their humanity. That's how kings outlast crowds, not by feeling less, but by thinking more. Strategic coldness also creates power in perception. People sense it, that quiet, intimidating calm that tells them you're not easily swayed. It makes them choose their words carefully, step lightly around you, and treat your attention like a privilege. You don't need to threaten anyone. Your indifference does it for you. Understand this. Emotion is the leash of the average man. Coldness cuts it. When you no longer react to offense, rejection, or provocation, you remove the handles others use to control you. You become your own force, steady, deliberate, untouchable. Comment below. I feel with reason, not weakness, because emotion is a tool, and only fools let tools control the hand that holds them. Power is not in being everywhere, it's in appearing exactly when it matters. The powerful move with precision, not noise. They know that constant presence breeds familiarity, and familiarity kills influence. When you appear rarely, your presence becomes an event. Every entrance carries weight. Every word lands like a verdict. Machiavelli understood timing as the essence of control, to appear when needed and vanish when expected. The wise stay invisible while the weak waste energy, proving they exist. Calculated presence is a weapon of perception. You let absence build curiosity, then re-emerge with impact. Your silence makes them wonder, your return makes them submit. Never chase moments, create them. Appear calm when others crumble, decisive when others hesitate. In power, timing isn't luck, it's warfare. Comment below. I move with precision because kings don't chase attention. They arrive when the world goes quiet and make it listen. You've just learned one of Machiavelli's rarest truths. Power doesn't explain itself. It enforces itself. Stop defending. Stop seeking approval. Stop justifying who you are. From now on, your silence will speak louder than your words. Your calm will unsettle them. Your distance will define you. And your command, it will echo long after you've walked away. Because this world doesn't respect explanations. It respects results. It doesn't obey emotions. It obeys presence. Be the one they can't predict, can't provoke, and can't forget. Comment below. I don't justify, I command. Let it be your creed. Let it be your armor. And if this message sharpened your mind, like this video to spread the philosophy. Subscribe to Mind of Machiavelli, where the weak learn to think and the strong learn to rule. Turn on notifications, because every word here is a weapon for those ready to rise. Walk with silence, move with precision, and remember, power never explains, it commands.